Hello, everybody, and welcome to Brooks Knows Baseball, the weekly podcast that comes out every Monday morning where we talk about baseball stats as well as some storylines as well. Something to get some interest going, anything at all. But right now, I think it's about that time where trade talks are starting, so we're going to give our top trade candidates here. I can roll right in with the standings, I believe. So I know T-Bone's been working on it, so feel free, T-Bone, to give us what you've researched, and I'll chime in when needed.
Okay, just a little reminder on the MLB Network. I think starting Tuesday is the combine for the Major League Draft. Something that's interesting to watch. It's a little boring, but you get some names. But as far as I guess at the end we'll go to standings and who's hot and who's not, kind of real quick. But as far as teams that might trade, I was thinking possibly Boston, but they swept the Yankees 2 today. That's great. But they got some people like Blyer, left-handed pitcher, Duvall, the outfielder who was hitting, they got hurt and just come back. Kenley Jansen. If they're out of it, they might want to load these people. Kluber, I don't know who'd want some of them. Jansen, yeah. Duvall, maybe. Martin, the pitcher out of the bullpen, seems to be all right. Paxton's back after about a 2-year absence, the left-handed pitcher. Ruff Snyder's utility right-handed hitter. And how about Turner at third base? So he can play a lot of positions. He might, he's 38 years old, but for a playoff push, he might be just a guy some teams need. Then you go to the White Sox. I'm
Well,
thinking. Go
before you
ahead.
say anything about the White Sox, they came out and said they're only expecting to trade rental players, nothing more. Which there's two big names you think
Who's it?
of.
Giolito and Anderson.
Yes, and Kopech too, right?
Oh yeah. Well, is he? Well, I guess they give up on him. Elvis Andrus, maybe he's old, but he might help someone. What about Clevenger? They don't want to unload him.
He's hurt right now. Even when he has
Grandal,
been, yeah.
uh,
I mean,
Kendall
Reynaldo
Graveman,
Lopez.
Lance Lynn. There's some
Yeah,
people they might want to unload, big contracts. But KC, Barlow, the relief pitcher, Chapman, I'm pretty sure he's
I
good as
think
gone.
that's pretty much a foregone conclusion, at least from my
Matt
inside source.
Duffy. Matt Duffy could help someone off the bench. Amir Garrett. Greinke probably wouldn't want to leave. He's pushing 39, but
Yeah, I don't think he'll leave.
they got Nick Whitgren, Yarborough. These are guys they might unload.
But yeah, those are guys you're not really going to get much
No, but
for.
they'll get something for him. But in a playoff push, Yarborough's had his moments. I don't know about this year, but
I think
Garrett,
Chapman's their biggest piece.
yeah, Barlow, I would think Garrett's not bad. Oakland, I'm thinking Blackburn. He's been pretty much a swing man. He's decent. Alamedes Diaz plays all over the infield. Kemp, and was it May? What's May's train? Is it Trevor May?
Trevor May, everyday Trevor May.
Yeah. Sam Maul, he pitches out lefty. And Perez, the catcher, was doing good. Rooker, he might be gone because they want prospects. The Nationals, I'm thinking Candelaria, maybe the first baseman, Smith, although he's only like 28. I hope they keep him.
Before you move on from the NL East, what about the Mets?
I'm
30.
not thinking they're going to get rid of anybody.
But what I mean, they're 5 games under 500, and what if by the trade deadline they're 15 games under? I think they'll have a different approach if they're that far under. And they're 3-7 in their last 10. They're now to minus 21 run differential. They're playing Houston this week, so I think it's going to get.
And Houston's probably mad because they get swept by the Reds this weekend. I'm loving
Well,
the
that's a
Reds.
team. The Reds. I think the Reds are going to buy. And hold
Might.
on, this is a little off topic. Isn't it funny how when one of the top prospects in all of baseball gets caught up and it gives the team a jolt?
Yeah.
All right, I just wanted to say that. Move on.
Yeah, in Nationals, Dickerson, left-handed outfielder. Carl Edwards Jr., he's a solid pitcher out of the bullpen, man. Joey Meneses, would they get rid of him? First base outfield, drives in runs, hitting 300. They may get some from him. Corbin, who's not great, but he's much improved over last year. They may have to eat a lot of contract, but if they can get a taker for the playoffs, he might be good. Trevor Williams, Hildemardo Vargas is a good switch hitter, can play a lot of positions. And then Pittsburgh. Now this is going to sound kind of funny, but they're dropping out now. But how about Hill? His numbers are not bad, and he might help someone in the playoff run.
He's been there
Rich
before.
Yeah,
right?
McCutcheon's having a solid season. McCutcheon could be
They're not
someone.
trading McCutcheon.
Well, as Santana, the first baseman, DH type. Now, what about St. Louis? They're kind of like the Mets.
They're going to sell. There's
Now,
no way. I mean,
I know
they're
who they.
they're going to
From
sell.
what everything I hear, I know who they really want to get rid of, but they screwed up. They
They
killed their
catcher
team. That's right.
Contreras.
Wilson Contreras. They said he's not even playing much. And the other day he came out and said he's lost his confidence. So Paul DeYoung, who's had 1 year,
Nicholas.
Gallegos out the bullpen. He's met Steven Matz, the left-handed pitcher, can be a swingman. Um, they might unload them. Colorado, Blackman, if he wants to leave, finally play for a winter. I think he's hurt right now. Diaz, I think, is that catcher. It's hitting good. And then a big one is Corbin Burns going to make it through the trade deadline with Milwaukee.
There's no way he makes it. Because I don't think he's going to re-sign them. I think they know that, but there's not many teams that can offer them something. I think there might be 3 or 4 teams that's going to give them something that they can be like, whoa.
Right. There's
And
3 or 4 of those teams at the big farm systems.
yeah,
So,
and I think that Baltimore should look long and hard to get some. There'd be a couple untouchables, I think, for Baltimore, but you don't have to give away your top 3 or 4 prospects because they're so deep.
yeah,
Um,
Baltimore, they went into Chicago, and the Cubs are hot and lost 2 out of 3, but and the Orioles are still 7-3 in their last 10.
yeah,
And the
one
Yankees
trade rumor
lost.
I'm hearing, and I think it could be shocking, is Juan Soto getting traded. And
Yeah,
the
because maybe
reason
they won't sign.
they said, I mean, they've committed what, over $500 million in the last, between Machado and Tatis and a couple other guys. Um, they said that's a lot of money. They don't necessarily, not that they don't have that much money to go around, but he's not really hitting that much, and everyone expects him to get a $300-400 million contract.
I wouldn't
He's
give it to
young.
him.
I think people are going to approach him, and then obviously everyone says the Yankees are going to get him, and someone says here the Angels might trade Otani for him. I don't see that
After his
happening.
contract's over after this year, right?
Yeah,
Well,
one
early.
team they're saying to look
Hey,
out for is the Texas Rangers.
yeah, they can do it. But I tell you, after the year, if the Nationals try, I think they'll get him. They got plenty of money to spend, and what I'm
He ain't
hearing
gonna
is,
go there. They ain't. They're not ready to compete for a few years. He ain't going there.
they're closer than you think. I'll say that.
They're last place in
They're going to
the
be.
division that's
They're going to
not
be
there.
next year's. They're going to be the Orioles of last year next year. Just
Nah.
watch because they got so much young pitching. I wish I had some of the prospects they got for the Orioles because they Mackenzie Gore, Josiah Gray. I love those guys, man. I'd love to have those guys. I watch them. They're good players, solid. I mean, they have some bumps. They're young, but they're coming, man. They got prospects too.
I
They're
think they're in a good spot because I think.
Rizzo's done it before too, buddy.
Well, I'm not for that reason. I think the Mets are reeling, and I think
Braves aren't.
Philly's just. But Miami, you got to talk about Miami as being one of the best teams in baseball right now.
Their manager's doing a heck of a job.
Well, they have the best hitter in baseball.
Yeah, yesterday was he 5 for 5?
Yeah,
And
unbelievable.
Michael Harris is back on the hit, and he's been bringing it up. And I think he was 5 for 5 today too, for
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Speaking of Luis Arraez, who still leads the league as he does every week, I think safe to say, unless something massive happens, he's going to be. He's going to be leading the whole time. In his last 15 games, I mean, he's only hitting 410. Luis Arraez, which is unbelievable. At 61 at bats, he has 25 hits in his last 61 at bats. Crazy. And if you go back to his last 30 games, which is a much bigger sample size, he's still hitting 400. So
Yeah, he's hitting.
unbelievable. No power, but he gets on base at.
A lot of teams like him. Where's he batting? First or second?
He's
Second,
got to
probably.
be. I would have him
Your
lead off.
buddy's batting first, probably, isn't he?
I thought didn't he get hurt though?
Who, your buddy?
Jazz? Is that what you're talking
Yeah, I'm
about?
not sure.
I'm pretty
I
sure he
haven't.
got.
Yeah,
But
as far
another
as
thing I'm thinking here, sort of
how
cut
about
you
the
off.
Dodgers? How about the Dodgers?
JD,
They're
I was
reeling.
saying JD Martinez. They think they're going to get rid of him, and they're reeling, which I'm happy about.
Did you remember me telling you J.D. Martinez was stupid for the Dodgers?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
1 year rental. I mean,
Remember I told you I didn't see the Dodgers being that good, and they're showing it now, aren't they?
yeah.
Their
Um,
age and their no talent.
I'm hearing Jock Peterson as well. for the
Thing
Giants.
thing impresses me about the Dodgers though, they bring up pitcher after pitcher, and they're all good. They just brought up another guy, Emmett something or other, the other day. He pitched six no hit innings, and they took him out.
That's a weird last name.
His first name Emmett. I can't remember his last name.
Something or another.
Yeah, Emmett something or other. I don't even know how you spell it. But yeah, look him up real quick. What is his name?
What do you want me to just Emmett baseball player? Like what?
Dodgers, Los Angeles Dodgers pitching roster. You'll see it.
Emmett
He,
Sheehan?
yes, that's it. Emmett, yeah, Emmett Sheehan. Where do you get a college in Northeast somewhere? Did it say?
Well, let's us see here. Boston College, Northeast. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah. He.
He is
I
their
didn't see
eighth
it.
prospect. Okay.
He
Um,
looked good, from what I
he was
understand,
a sixth round pick in 2021.
and he's already up there. It's
Yeah.
funny how you can get up there that quick. Not like some organizations.
Well, he didn't even go to AAA. He came straight from AA.
I will tell you, and everybody on the broadcast, I had an opportunity to go watch Heston Kierstadt, Colton Cowser, Jordan Westberg today. Whoever else they got, some prospects down there.
Connor Norby.
Connor Norby, Daz Cameron, seen him drive one out in right field. But the glaring problem in the Orioles system is the pitching. Their pitching sucks in Norfolk. So I don't know what they're going to do, but they just called up a really good pitcher from AA, Armbruster. But anyway, but any other there's so many trades could go so many ways. All the people I named, if I were one of the front teams, I don't want many of those. Not as a first line player, they'd be backups or pieces, except for Corbin Burns. Really, other than that,
I know we talk about this, but take a team like the Orioles. I think they are right now not a serious World Series contender. They're a playoff contender right now, but they're not a serious World Series contender.
they got to make some moves. Couple.
They need a back end rotation guy, or they need a rotation piece, a top end rotation piece. They need a back end relief pitcher because they're going to tax the hell out of that bullpen by the end of the season. And then I think they need an on base guy.
Well, the thing about the back end, if Dylan Tate's healthy, I saw him pitch in Norfolk today. He didn't look too healthy today. He didn't look too good. But then again, he said he wasn't result oriented. He was just trying to get his work in. So him and Michael Givens, if they come back and pitch effectively, then there's your answer back there. Because Dylan Tate was a solid player last year, and he's been hurt all year. But so that would answer that. They need a starter, and they have the people to go out and get one.
I'm thinking
Maybe the
there's
Mets
a
will get rid of
for me. There's a
Scherzer.
couple again. No, and there's a couple
Yeah.
untouchables. Because we'll talk about Orioles because they're the best farm system and they're the most poised to make any moves. Jackson Holiday to me is an untouchable because
Correct.
he's a superstar. He's going to be the number one prospect going into
But
baseball.
they got people like they brought Prieto up from Double A. He was batting 360 today. Brought him up to Norfolk. Someone's got to want him. He could step in a lot of places within
He's
by the end
16
of
or
the year.
he's 24 years old, 16th rated prospect for him. Really in the top five people, I think I would gladly get rid of DL Hall. They sent him to Sarasota because his velocity is down 5 miles per hour.
He's hurt.
So they sent him to lift weights and get stronger, is what I read.
They
So
need it.
give up on him. He's
He's
done.
not going to be anything.
Um, I,
He's 24, 25. I mean, how many years are we going to give him wait till he's 30?
Heston Kjerstad's an untouchable to me, and Holiday and Kjerstad are the only top five I think are untouchables.
Cowser would be to me, and
Kjerstad,
Westberg. But I'd get rid. I'd trade Norby. I'd trade
by the
Prieto.
end of the trade deadline, Cowser, Westbrook, Kjerstad, one of them will not be in the system.
What about Hudson Haskin? He's a second round pick. He's good.
But
Uh,
he's
you could
13th rated prospect for him. Um, I
you could put him in a package with say Prieto and maybe someone like I don't know. Say I don't know what position they're getting, but if they trade, but you could throw someone from the big league team up there, one of your outfielders. Maybe send Stowers. Maybe send. What are we going to do? Aaron Hicks is hitting. So what's going to happen when Mullins is back? Are they going to cut him? Are they going to what? McKenna? McKenna adds zero value as far as I'm concerned to that team, except for dropping fly balls and not being able to hit when chips are down. Usually,
yeah,
you know.
well, it'll definitely be an exciting time to sit and watch. But it's August 1st, so we got a little bit of time, a little over a month away.
Well,
But I
I'm
think
sure they're talking already.
Yeah, well, speaking, I'm sure they are. The it'll probably start to drop here in about 3 or 4 weeks. I think they'll start making moves. I mean, baseball's good. Baseball's the most active trade deadline typically, so
Well, and
that's
I'll
really
say this too: when you take a team, for example, teams that are near the front now in their divisions, say the Reds, even I love what they're doing, but they're playing good. If they go out and make a couple moves, and these teams that have got a decent record now, say like Baltimore, they're way ahead of what anybody thought, except for us. They're going to only, they're 17 games over. They're going to lengthen that because the second half, a lot of teams have quit. They know they're out of it, and they trade people away. Then you mop up in the second half. That's where you get your 95 win teams. You know, they
yep,
make a lot of headway in that second half.
absolutely. It's exciting. The to me, the general manager aspect of everything is the most exciting part of baseball. I love it. I remember
Yeah.
even when I played the show, I'd rather simulate the season just do the general manager stuff in the offseason.
Uh,
But
yeah.
I think it's a good segue. Let's go ahead. Speaking of trade deadlines and teams, let's go ahead and move on to
What's your surprise team of the week?
the Reds.
Mine's the Reds.
The
Yep.
Reds. Got to be the Reds.
I like it,
Or
man. And you know what's scary about the Reds? They're super young.
San
I
Francisco,
don't know.
too.
Can you look up who's the youngest team in baseball? Because I guarantee they're one of
Yeah.
5 years.
Let's
You
see
know.
here. Fill some time here so we don't have stagnant radio.
Oh well, um, I seen Dahlbeck play today for Worcester.
Got it
Woosah.
already. Sorry. All
But
right.
anyway,
So,
wasn't he a big prospect? And he's now in AAA again, 26, 27.
should have been.
Yeah.
The youngest team in baseball is Cleveland.
Okay.
They are 26.3
And
years old.
and they pounded the Padres today.
Then you got Cincinnati at second at 27.3. The Washington Nationals, 27.8.
Hey, what was I telling you about Nationals say?
Yeah. And then the oldest teams, which is not looking good, the Mets, by a year, they're 31 and a half years old.
Because the
So
pitching
something
staff
tells
number
me,
one.
um,
They need to blow it up and trade them guys and rebuild. Because
so ESPN is saying the Miami Marlins, their youngest player is 20, and their oldest player is 75. So I'm
what Babe
assuming,
Ruth come back?
well, they say this Cardinals have a 65-year-old player, but that's probably Adam Wainwright. So that's accurate. So I don't understand what they're doing here, why they have someone that old, but
They don't have him. Oh, it's a mistake.
obviously they don't have a 75-year-old player on the team. Come
When
on now.
Stan Musial's back.
But let's go ahead and look at the standings here. So the AL East looks much it did the last.
Did Tampa end up losing today? I know they were losing.
They lost 2 games in a row. Big,
So, but
big,
haven't they
big.
played like 5 games more than Orioles have?
So they're at 51 and 24, or is it 44 and 27?
Yeah, but I think there's only how many losses does Baltimore have?
27,
And Tampa's got what? 20 what?
24.
3 games on the loss column. See,
Yeah.
so
That can be made up. They have a 2 game series coming up on Tuesday,
it's just
Wednesday.
the 2 game series.
Yeah, and so that'll be big. I mean, that's a big series.
Yeah,
For
will you
both.
get that game on TV in Texas on Wednesday?
I will, but it will be well over at midnight. So I'll tell you that much. But I have it on tape delay.
You can do that so we can watch it that night.
I am. Yes, I can. Well, let's not talk about our travel plans on the podcast here, pimp. The Yankees gladly have lost 4 in a row. They're 39 and 33. They're going to Seattle, so that's probably they'll probably go do good there. Toronto, 4 and 6 in their last 10 games, 39, 34, playing against Miami.
What happened to Manoa, man? I mean, we spoke a little bit last week, but how do you go from third guy for Cy Young votes to
Well, they said it's the pitch clock for him. He's too out of shape to go fast. That's a funny thing to say, but that's what it is. That's what I hear. Maybe you get,
yeah.
you're
I
getting
don't
paid.
want to.
I don't like Manoa for
I don't want
multiple.
to comment on that again because I'll go into a rant about the out of shape baseball players. But
Yeah,
And
that's the pot calling the kettle black, isn't it?
hey, I'm not getting paid $10 million a year to play baseball, and I
All
could
right.
have a personal trainer.
All right, T-Bone. We got the Boston Red Sox, 37 and 35, winners of their last four. Just looks like when they're out of it, man, they're coming right back. They're only 2 games out of the wild card,
But they're
so
still in last place, right?
they are, which is crazy because they'd be first place in the AL Central. But if you look at the AL East right now, Tampa obviously is going to make the playoffs. If the season ends today, Tampa's in the playoffs, Orioles are in the playoffs, Yankees are in the playoffs, Blue Jays are only half game out of the playoffs. So there's a realistic possibility 4 teams from the AL East make it to the playoffs this year.
Right.
That's
I have
crazy to me.
I
With
have
the
an in guest here today.
Yeah, speaking of the AL Central, um, the Minnesota Twins are 36 and 36, the leaders of the division, which is just a terrible division. They got the Red Sox, which you'd say the Red Sox being last place is a good way to play a first place team. But seeing as the Red Sox have a better record than that first place team, that division's just
Well,
garbage.
speaking of Minnesota, let's take a look at one of their studs.
I
You
know
know
what
who
you're talking about. Let's talk about. Wait,
what do you
go
got? Oh
ahead.
for what today? Buxton. I know yesterday he was 0 for whatever. He's bat. Last time he was batting 206. They give him all that money. You know he was hurt again.
How to put my twin stuff on.
Yeah. Well, what's the deal with him, man? Is they missed on him, and everybody thought he was so great.
So
He's not.
he's what I think should be a. You need to look at him when you're giving out Juan Soto's contract. And Soto's done a lot more than him, but you were paying Buxton on potential.
Right.
That's it. You know, that's all you're paying Buxton on is potential, and he has none. I mean, he has no. He just doesn't have it. And their top hitters this year. Let's just look at their top hitters.
Kirilloff's doing all right since he come back.
Yeah, well, they sent down Trevor Larnach too, though. So one of their other top guys. So you got Matt Wallner, who's had 11 games there. He's hitting 368. Donovan Solano hitting 284.
Yeah. How
Royce
old's
Lewis.
Donovan? How
Huh?
old's Donovan? Donovan
Don,
Solano plays. What happened to Miranda?
Donovan Solano's been playing, I think,
First base.
since Tony Oliva's been playing for the Twins.
Hmm.
That's when he broke in the league in 2012. He's 35 years old. But they don't have a lot of guys that get on base. And if only they could just
They,
somehow find a
people
guy
like
who
they
gets on
they
base.
keep Kepler. When they go give up on Kepler, he stinks.
Michael A. Taylor.
Kepler.
And Michael A. Taylor.
Does he still stink too? I used to
226.
despise him when he's in that.
Ryan Jeffers, 225. Christian Velasquez, 220. Jose Miranda, 220. Carlos Correa, 217. Trevor Larnach, 211, who just got sent down, one of their top prospects. Byron Buxton, 205. Joey Gallo, 191. Max Kepler, 189. Kyle Garlick, 179. Nick Gordon,
If they
176.
win that division, that's disgusting because that's a terrible baseball team, other than their pitching. And
But you look here and you're like, damn, man, no one gets on base. But they traded Luis Arraez this offseason. That's stupid. It was stupid. I like the Twins. I do. For Pablo Lopez, and people say, well, Pablo Lopez is good. Pablo Lopez is a 4.2 ERA. All right. That's not great. Joe Ryan's doing fantastic for him. 3.3. Young guy.
Sonny,
Sonny Gray's doing good. Bailey Ober, fantastic. 2.6. You
that's
got
what's keeping them in the race. Their pitching staff. If
yeah.
they need to trade something and get some hitting.
But I don't necessarily think their minor league system. I don't think there's enough there to get.
This Julian came up, but he hadn't done really hit. Not
Uh,
yet, but he don't play it consistently.
he should play consistent because he hits and he hits really good. But they got, I mean, just looking at some of the guys they could trade,
Hey,
I,
maybe Baltimore could go out to them and get one of those pitchers and give them some hitters.
I would take from them Joe Ryan, but they're not trading Joe Ryan.
Sonny Gray, he's
They got
older.
four guys in the top 100, so there's not much there. I mean, none of them are top. Royce Lewis is up there, but they're not going to trade him. And even if you do, you're not going to get anything for him because he can't stay healthy. When he is healthy,
Right.
he's a good player. I like Royce Lewis. Very,
He's a Buxton clone
yeah.
as
And then
far as health.
Brooks Lee is actually the
I
reason
like him.
Brooks knows baseball because we're big Brooks Lee fans.
Yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, we got cards of Brooks here. But
Mhm.
yeah, moving back to the standings here, and I got off of it because I'm dumb. Oh, hold on one
I
second.
tell you who else surprised team of the week? The Angels. They're in
Yes,
second now.
they've overtaken the
Yeah,
Astros.
because who's carrying that team? Because Trout's died this year, worst season of his career. Who is carrying that team? I just want to know.
Shohei Ohtani, and when we talk stats, we'll talk
Leads
something.
leads all the baseball home runs now, does he?
Yes, and he leads them a lot of things. But after Minnesota, we got Cleveland at 33-38. They're 5-5 in the last 10. Got the Detroit Tigers, who finally won a game again, a couple games in a row. From last week,
I
they
thought
won.
they had turned it around, but obviously not.
Yeah, well, they're playing Kansas City, so they're probably going to continue their winning ways. They
But
won early.
something needs to be done about teams like Oakland and Kansas City. That's a joke. They're disgraceful.
Something's
I
done
watched
about Oakland,
Oakland.
man. They're going to Vegas.
Well, yeah, I watched them quite a bit this week, and they looked all right. They went on that winning streak, and and I was excited. They even beat Tampa 2 games this week. Go
Yeah,
figure.
but they're only 21 or 26 and a half games behind the Rangers, so it's not over. But
Yeah,
then speaking of ALS, let's go. Texas Rangers, one of the best teams in baseball, but they are 4-6 in the last 10.
they're pounding the ball every night. And Seager, holy cow, man, that guy's amazing.
And they probably have the Rookie of the Year as well, I believe.
I bet the Dodgers are regretting the day they let Seager go, aren't they? They need him
Mhm.
now.
Then you got the Angels, who are 7-3. They're playing the Dodgers. So they shot. Let's go Angels in that one. They're 41-33. The Astros are 3-7 in their last 10, but they got an easy schedule coming up with the Mets. 39,
Hey,
33.
the Met, you never know. Mets could sweep that. Hey, who the Reds just swept the Astros. The Astros. Do you remember when we were talking today? I kind of think their pitching might take a step back,
Yeah,
and
who said that?
and and some of it is. And McCullers, he's gone for the year
Yeah,
again,
well,
again.
that always happens. Then we're bringing up the rear. We got Seattle and, of course, the Oakland Athletics. NL East, we got Atlanta, Miami, the Phillies, the Mets, the Nationals. Um, Miami 7-3 in their last.
Didn't see that coming, did we?
No, the Phillies are 8-2. They're turning it on at the right time. They need to
Yeah.
get
Hey,
caught
they
up.
did last year, if you remember.
And the Atlanta Braves as well. 8-2 in their last 10. So that top three teams there are doing really good. Going to the NL Central, Milwaukee Brewers, first place. The Cincinnati Reds, winners of their last 8. Second place, the Pittsburgh Pirates, losers of their last 6.
Milwaukee's not a good team.
No, I don't think so either. And third place, the Cubs, who are 7 and
They're,
3.
they've been hot.
Yeah, they do. And speaking of a trade guy, we didn't mention Marcus Stroman. Keep an eye on him to get traded.
Well, he wants to stay there. I read an article about that. He wants to stay there, but he said that the Cubs haven't even talked to him about it. So
And the Cardinals bring up the rear there as well. But going to the NOS, we got Arizona, 43-29, one of the best teams in baseball right now. 6-4 in their last 10. They got Milwaukee coming up. We got the San Francisco Giants, who swept the Dodgers, winners of their last 7, which I'm very happy about the Dodgers because they're stupid in what they did this week. The Dodgers 39-33. The Padres 35-36, 7-3 in their last 10 games. So maybe it's starting to come on for the Padres. Keep an eye out for them. I think if they get it going,
they
it's going
lost
to be.
today. Then they got blown up today by
No, they
Cleveland.
they, they won today.
Who'd Cleveland blow up today?
Well, I could tell you. Give me. Let's see. Cleveland won one game today, one game in a row, which was today, obviously. They Arizona 12-3.
Oh, that's right, Arizona. I knew it was out west.
Before we get to the stats here, I do want to touch on one thing. Speaking of the Rangers, did you see how their game went today?
They won big again.
Yes, but they were
But
down
but
1 point, 7-0, and they
yeah,
won.
their best pitcher, probably the second best pitcher, he got hammered first time this year, and he still got an ERA under 3.
Yeah,
Um, what's his name? I'm having brain fade. He's from Texas. He
Sonny
came
Gray,
from college.
or not Sonny,
What?
John Gray.
John Gray. I knew it was a
So
Gray.
Corey Seager, real quick, he's hitting 363. Nate
What's he
Lowe,
hit since he come back, man?
let's see, in his last
Young's still playing really good.
in Corey Seager's last 15 games, he is hitting
If
419,
hey, if
5 home
someone
runs.
goes out and gets a starter, if they do, everybody else may be in trouble because they
It's
got one
almost
of the.
like someone at Brooks News Baseball said the Rangers are going to go to the World Series.
Well,
I
they
don't know
ain't
who
there
said
yet.
that.
I would.
Well,
Hey, you know what I think the Rangers? I would never even have one of their hats, man.
yeah,
Oh
we
wait
both
a minute.
changed hats. But let's touch stats real quick here. We'll just talk top 5. Everyone will go burn through them. Got Luis Arez, still leading hitter in all of baseball, hitting 388. Crazy. Ronald Acuna 325, Freddie Freeman 324, Austin Hayes the first American
American League.
guy on here. He's leading the American League in hitting 320. Then you got Nick Castellano
Hey,
hitting
when
315.
when when you talk about trading players,
Mm-hmm.
that's the best year he's ever had. He might be the guy to get rid of because they got all kind of prospects they could bring up. You might get a lot for him, and this is his best year, but he's healthy, and
Yep.
maybe it's time.
Looking,
It's like Manchester United in soccer when they were on their big run. They remember they'd have a superstar striker, and they'd always get rid of him before he peaked out. You know what I mean?
yes,
So
yeah. Looking at the leaders in home runs, we got Shohei Ohtani, 24 home runs,
who,
58
who was
RBI.
that? I missed that. Who was that?
Shohei, I know. I might make a rebuttal video here, but he's only stealing bases at 40%, so, or 60%. So, he's hitting 300 right now. He's the MVP of the league right now.
Absolutely.
Got to be. Pete Alonso, 22 home runs, but only hit 227. So,
Yeah. When's the
Matt,
last time he hit a home run?
yeah, not in the last week, I don't believe. Then you got Matt Olson, 20 home runs, hit 230. Kyle Schwarber,
Was he hitting like
187.
one? Yeah. And speaking of batting averages, Chapman. Remember he was batting really good. Now what's he batting?
Oh, I think he's in the 250s now. He's not even top 30.
That's about
Then you
his
got
career.
the fifth guy here, Jorge, Soler, 20 home runs, 260, leading RBI getters in the league. Shohei Ohtani again, number one at 58. Rafael Devers, 57. Adolis Garcia, 56. Jordan Alvarez, 55. Marcus Simeon at
Hey, when you
54.
when you talk about MVP, Simeon ought to get some consideration.
He
He
should.
carried that team when Seager was hurt. His numbers are good. He's a leader. He's a solid player, man.
Yeah.
He's something that was under radar signing last year. See, they came on and started putting the pieces in place, and now when they got Bochy, that just cinched it, man. If they don't get deep in the playoffs, I'd be shocked.
Hey, they're going to
With
win.
Bochy, they're liable to win it.
I have them winning the World Series. No, I have the Braves winning the World Series.
Because personally, if it came down to say Baltimore and Texas, I know who I want. I like them both, but I believe Bochy's way better manager. But
Um,
anyway,
yeah, that's not even close. But looking here at the stolen base leader, I just want to touch on this. Estuary Ruiz already has 36 stolen bases. Crazy.
yeah,
I just
yeah,
wanted to touch on that real quick. Going
he's
to
fast.
pitching here, the league leader in winners, the league leading winning. I don't know what I'm saying here. Pitcher Shane McClanahan, 11-1 at 2.1 ERA, looking like the Cy Young favorite right now. Nathan Eovaldi, 9-3, 2.5. Zach Eflin, 8-3, 3.2 ERA. Zach Gallen, 8 wins with a 2.9 ERA. And then finishing up that would be Kyle Gibson with the Orioles, 8-4, 3.9 ERA. The ERA leaders among qualified pitchers would be Shane McClanahan at 2.1, Framber Valdez 2.2, Sonny Gray 2.3, and Stroman 2.4. Nathan Eovaldi at finishing that up.
How
The leaders.
about saves?
Let's look at saves real quick. So the leader in saves is still going to be Clase. He has 5 blown saves. Still, I want to throw that one out there before
How
we
many
go.
saves does he have?
He has 21. Jordan Romano, second with the Toronto Blue
That
Jays,
guy's good too.
is 20 saves and as a 2.7 ERA. But the best closer in all of baseball would be Felix Bautista, 19 saves with a 1.0 ERA. Unbelievable. Then you got
How many
Camilo
strikeouts has he
Duval.
got? He's averaging over two an inning in a game, an inning, right?
So Felix Bautista has 67 strikeouts in 33 innings. He's given up 4 earned runs this year, 2 of which were um,
Well, you got to remember when you say how many blown saves he got.
uh, uh, 4, but 2 of them were not his fault. I know that, and that goes
Right.
for everybody, not just him.
Well, hey, isn't it his fault when his left fielder drops a ball right in his glove? Guy who
Yep.
shouldn't be in the major leagues. But anyway, that's another story of another day.
Well, let's look at strikeout leaders real quick. So Spencer Strider, 78 innings,
Yeah,
120
but
strikeouts.
he gets
But
hammered, strikeout or boom, right?
yeah, but then you got Kevin Gausman, who I said is one of the top 20 best players in baseball, and you laughed at me, as second with 92 innings,
What's the
120.
rest of his numbers? Though? What's his WHIP? What's his
He has
ERA?
a 3.01 ERA, 1.1 WHIP. Opponents hitting 231 against him. Not bad numbers at all.
No, yeah, he's good. I like Kevin Gausman.
Yes, I do too. I would love the Orioles to still have him. But yeah, that's the stats right now. That's this week in baseball. Johnny Boy T-Bone, Ron, whatever hell I want to call you. So, you gonna give us a sign off?
Yeah, that's all for this weekend of this week in baseball.
That's just such
That's
a
all for
just a quick wait. If you're here at this point, 35 minutes in, like it, share it, follow it. We've been getting our views have been climbing a little bit, so at least 60 views per video now, which is great. Got I had some subscribers last week, so maybe it's taken off. Let's try to double the video views here and just continuously double.
right. Okay, that's all for this week for Brooks Knows Baseball, and we'll see you next time, folks.
Next episode is going to be different.
It
We'll,
is.
yeah, well,
Oh yeah, because I'll be yeah.
T-Bone's coming on. We're gonna scout and hopefully they listen to our opinions.
Do they listen to our opinion?
Well, no, but if they did,
All right.
all
There
right,
you go.
T-Bone. Take care, everyone. Good night.
Good night, John Boy.
We are still filming.